moving 18-wheeler
This
truck,
is Brandon
which
Kelly,
itself down a bunch of back roads
Speedy
while the two hit each other with
4759123,
the object was to climb to the top of the trailer
and we're
sound
about
off
to
a
play
horn
some
for the
Pac-Man.
win, which is at least easier to understand than the Undertaker Shane Vince Lockbox storyline. Both Rhodes and the Bully bladed during the match, a violation of WCW policy at the time, and thus were both fired afterward. Dustin would, however, land on his feet months later, earning a name that we'd never forget. Number 6, the Great American Turkey Hunt. We rib Vince Russo for various ideas and concepts that were born of his brainstorms, but the thing most intertwined with his wrestling legacy are pole matches. Viagra on a pole, Pinata on a pole, Machete on a pole, Danny Trejo's character Machete on a pole while holding a machete, a year's supply of Pop-Tart filling on a pole. Vinny Roo loved his pole matches. But this particular pole match didn't come under his watch. It took place in the AWA when the company was long in ruins. As part of the ill-fated Team Challenge series, veteran Colonel De Beers battled longtime underneath wrestler Jake the Milkman Millerman in a match where an uncooked turkey hung from a pole, and in order to win, you had to retrieve it. Not to use as a weapon, but given the state of the AWA in 1990, that turkey was probably their pay. De Beers technically claimed the plucked foul following a ref bump in a pole match, but Millerman snatched the bird as the official came to, so he won the match, and 3 nights of dinner. Number 5, the Piranha Death Match. We could oversaturate your brain with every effed up Japanese death match that has ever been instituted, but let's just pick 1 out of a billion that easily defies sanity. And for that, we journey back to 1996, when Big Japan Pro Wrestling decided to pit Kendo Nagasaki against Mitsuhiro Matsunaga in a match that would feature various implements of torture and destruction, and, as the title promised, freaking piranhas. The barbed wire boards on hand were the least horrifying part of the match, as in order to win, you had to submerge your opponent in a provided tank filled with piranhas for 10 seconds, while the flesh-chomping fish had a chance to work their magic. Both wrestlers had their blood spill into the tank, which got those feisty fish all fired up. In the end, Matsunaga ended up being the unfortunate bait, as Nagasaki forced him into the tank, and in the most classic of dick moves, held the barbed wire board over the top of him to prevent escape. Worse yet, Matsunaga didn't even get a free turkey for his troubles. Number 4, Falls Count Anywhere. WWE style. I mean, Falls Count Anywhere matches are hard to screw up, aren't they? 2 individuals fight without boundaries, and the match can end anywhere, be it a ring, a public restroom, Blacktop Bully's truck, one of the airships, Super Mario 3, whatever. 1 fall to a finish at any location, and there are no rules otherwise. Leave it to WWE to gunk that up at WrestleMania 10 by having Randy Savage and Crush settle their score in a Falls Count Anywhere match, where the pinned victim had 60 seconds to return to the ring, and if they did, the match would resume. It couldn't just be a garden variety brawl without limits. Oh no, WWE had to make it their own, much in the same way that Fergie makes a national anthem her own. Number 3, the Last Blood Battle Royal. Really, making fun of TNA's reverse battle royals is beating a dead horse at this point. It's actually easier than that. It's as easy as being within 7,000 miles of a horse. So let's look at a stranger battle royal, one that doesn't get all that much attention. In September 1991, Tri-State Wrestling, the spiritual predecessor to ECW, held an impressive-looking card in Philadelphia that included Owen Hart, Cactus Jack, Terry Funk, and the original Sheik. It also staged a 14-man battle royal in which the object was not to throw opponents out of the ring, but rather to make the other 13 men bleed. Yes, blood in wrestling, ostensibly used to add drama to a heated fight, was merely used here as a means of eliminating local talents from the evening's opening match. That's more than a dozen blade jobs, spilling blood simply for the sake of it. Only 2 of the competitors, Sabu and the match winner the Sandman, went on to any kind of fame in the business. Number 2, the Punjabi prison match. So what happened here was there was some big fancy cocktail party somewhere in Manhattan, and the talk among the social elites was how TNA, through the King of the Mountain match, had created the most convoluted and confusing gimmick match in wrestling history. Vince McMahon, red-faced and enviously clutching his martini glass to the point of shattering it, vowed that he could not let this stand. He had to create a gimmick match more needlessly confusing than that hastily assembled bladder mess as a means of asserting his alpha dominance. Thus was born the Punjabi prison match. It's similar to a blindfold match, but instead of the wrestlers, it's the fans who can't see a goddamn thing. The match was invented for the Great Khali on account of him not only being billed from Punjab, India, but also his penchant for quoting the show Prison Break. Escape is the object of victory, and fans in the arena are always excited to see who wins. That's because once the match goes past 10 minutes, thanks to the visibility killing structure, they've forgotten who's actually in it.
That's a new record on level 1.
There are many reasons why the
We're moving on to level 2.
First ballot Hall of Famer, and being the ultimate team player is one of them. Some of the worst storylines and matches have involved Mark Calloway, whose mystical powers aren't strong enough to disinfect the pungency of some of WWE's worst ideas ever. Like the time he had to do a job to the Dudley Boys, lest Paul Heyman kill Paul Bearer, who was enclosed in a glass case of concrete. Yes, definitely the second thing. Now this begs some obvious questions, like, was this legal? Couldn't the cops have saved Paul Bearer? How did Bearer even get into this predicament? Who sanctioned this match? How did any of this happen? Why did any of this happen? But there Undertaker was, getting in offense on the Dudleys, causing an angry Heyman to authorize dumping more goop onto Kane's father. And then Undertaker won, and for some reason, elected to kill Bearer anyway. Because nothing says send the kids home happy like senseless murder with the aid of a cement truck. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. You can follow us on Twitter at Cultaholic. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Cultaholic. If you enjoy what we do here at Cultaholic, you can pledge to us on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Cultaholic. And most importantly, don't forget to hit subscribe and join us.
Hello there everybody, What Culture Wrestling's Adam Cleary here. Just before I start, do you remember when you were young and watched your favourite kids TV shows relentlessly and religiously no matter how repetitive they got? Do you remember that? I personally used to like Dragon Ball Z, and once during the summer holidays I watched 4 consecutive episodes, 4 consecutive afternoons where all that happened was just Vegeta floated above, I think it was Cell, for like the whole time, and just went and raised his power level, and that's
a new record on level 2.
Consecutive afternoons. Anyway, in entirely unrelated news,
on to level 3.
Off the back of 3 near identical pay-per-views that are going to give us some fresh, exciting new matches. Matches that mix up the opponents and the feuds. Matches that you never thought you'd get a chance to see. And matches that may or may not contain very safe, very aware use of steel chairs. The Undertaker's back to help the man who humiliated him at WrestleMania, which of course makes sense. And Bobby and Braun have picked us up off the floor to have a last man standing match, which of course also makes sense. And presumably tired of boring the internet with the same 2 main event matches for the Raw Men's and Women's Championships, WWE have they've bundled those 2 together into a mixed tag match where neither gender is likely to lay a single glove on the other one, which makes sense. Still though, despite them ruining the surprise of Aleister Black's opponent, which I will level with you would have made up about 3 or 4 entries in this video alone, thanks for that WWE, there's still a lot to get your teeth into, because it's SummerSlam soon, isn't it? They've got to do a lot to get from here to there. So with that unusually long intro by my standards to one side, you know the rules by now. I've scoured the internet for all the rumours, hearsay, whispers, tattletale, speculation, everything that's doing the rounds about this pay-per-view, so you didn't have to. I'm going to collate all the best ones for you right now, with help, of course, from the Wrestling Rumours Advisory Board. My name is Adam Cleary, and these are all the last-minute Extreme Rules rumours you need to know. Number 8, Undertaker turns on Reigns. Now yes, I know I did just say that this makes sense, but obviously the joke there is that it doesn't. And that's because if you cast your mind back, the Undertaker got into something of a blood feud with Roman Reigns after he slung him out of the Royal Rumble that time. And of course that built to a main event at WrestleMania where Reigns went over him, and he 100% definitely, legitimately, no takesy backsies for realsies this time, definitely retired at the end of that. Then of course Reigns came out the next night on Raw, soaked up 8 solid minutes of the loudest booing I've ever heard, paid him the ultimate slice of disrespect, and dropped the mic. And now, 2 years later, they're friends.
That is level 3.
If you can't put aside the watertight writing there and the fact that, I need to show you this, they've released the single greatest piece of opportunistic merch I've ever seen in this company for a long time. That's their tag team name, the Graveyard Dogs, and the dog that's meant to be the Undertaker is all old and haggard and disheveled. Put all that aside, for 1 minute and consider the idea that Reigns Taker 2 is a really good match for SummerSlam. Think about it, the decrepit, rank smell of his last match with Goldberg still lingers in his big old nostrils. He's going to want to go out properly this time with something he's not embarrassed to watch back when he's got his feet up on his big goth coffin sofa that I presume that he lives in. So, yeah, they're not going to do Shane anymore. They're taking him off television. Loads of holes are getting poked in this idea that he wants to work with Drew. So, yeah, betrays him, sets up a match. Meh?
Oh, a new member of Shane's gang. Speaking of which, who wants to see my Shane McMahon impression? What time does the match start?
Can we not just turn the old horse into glue already? At least then he'd be able to hold the match together.
Number 7, Sasha Banks returns. Okay, so one thing I can say with total certainty here is that at the very least, WWE want you to think this is happening. Ahead of their 2-on-1 handicap match for the SmackDown Women's Championship, the three of them were doing a thing in the ring, and Nikki Cross dropped the single juiciest bit of blog bait I have ever seen when she said, where is it? Here's some free advice for you, that's to Bailey. Go find a friend of your own. You need someone as loyal and as honest as Alexa Bliss. Someone to really slap some sense into you. Gee whiz, what is that telegraphing? If this was any other promotion, that would now be way too obvious to be anything other than just some massive swerve. But this is WWE, and they do have a big, veiny, stonking hard-on for ruining their own surprises, so... Yeah,
That is a new high score on level 4.
I don't know, she might come back and like betray Bailey and like a...
And that is it for
what could they be? The three women...
the levels that are tracked on Pac-Man Pop.
Ugh, it's the best I've got. With brand new top quality Japanese neck stuff skills.
No, you got a little temper tantrum, have you? Okay. Time is it?
Vince, I know. It is indeed boss time, you demented old twat.
Number 6.
There's the proof that I'm on
I know,
Android version 7.0. This has been Brandon Kelly, Speedy 4759123.
Insinuation that it's going to happen.
Yeah, this has been Pac-Man Pop. Thank y'all for watching.
Every single one of these videos that contains some kind of reference to Mr.